Close your eyes and let your mind soften for just a moment. Tonight, you don't have to solve anything. The blue hammock is already waiting. Right here, in your real bed, you can feel the surface beneath you. The weight of your body settling into the mattress, just a little more with each breath. You don't have to adjust anything. You don't have to hold yourself up. Something is carrying you already. The bed, the floor, the quiet night around you. All of it holding you without being asked. You're mostly okay and you know that. You've kept things moving, kept things together, managed more than most people see. But there's something underneath all of that steadiness, a small, persistent sense of wobble. Not collapse, not crisis. Just a feeling like a chair with 4 strong legs, where one of them is carrying a little too much. And the whole thing holds. It does hold, but you feel it. That quiet lean, that slight uneven weight in your chest or your shoulders. You've been feeling it for a while now, and tonight you don't have to fix it or explain it or push through it. You can simply let your body soften around it and breathe. With each breath, your shoulders drop just a little more. Your jaw loosens. Your hands open. The sound of your own breathing becomes the only thing you need to follow. In, slow and easy. Out, like something releasing that you didn't even know was waiting. Little by little, the room around you softens. The edges of things, the ceiling, the walls, the familiar shapes of your night, they begin to blur just slightly at the edges. Not disappearing, just becoming less important. Your body is heavy and warm. Your breath is slow and even. And somewhere in the drift between waking and sleep, something shifts, quiet and gentle, like a door opening onto a different kind of air. You find yourself standing, not in your room, but in a small, simple space with wooden floors and whitewashed walls. A low table near one wall, a chair with a woven seat, and an open window. Its curtain moving softly in a breeze you can already smell. Salt. The sea, close by and mild, drifting in through the window with the kind of ease that makes your shoulders drop all over again. SFX, soft ocean breeze, distant water sounds. A pair of sandals rest near the door, as if they've always been yours. You slip them on without thinking, your feet finding the wooden floor solid and sure beneath you. And by the door, Raven is already there. Her dark shape steady in the dim light, tail low and quiet, eyes patient. She doesn't pull or push. She simply stands as if to say, I know where we're going, and there's no hurry. You feel the weight in your chest still, that familiar sense of carrying more than your share. But here, in this dream, even that feels a little lighter, as if the air itself is willing to hold a portion of what you've been through. You open the door. The night comes in, warm and soft and real. And ahead of you, down a short stone staircase lit by 2 small lamps mounted on the wall, the harbour waits. The steps are worn smooth by years of feet moving up and down just like this. Each one a little uneven, a little dipped in the middle, shaped by time and use into something perfectly imperfect. Your sandals find them easily. Raven moves ahead of you down the steps, her nails ticking lightly on the stone, then going quiet as she reaches the bottom and waits. Her breath is steady. So is yours. At the base of the stairs, the harbour opens in front of you, wide and calm and breathing. The sky above is a deep, settled blue. the kind of blue that lives between full dark and full night, with just a thin ribbon of warmer colour left at the horizon, fading slowly as you watch. The water inside the harbour is almost still. Small ripples move across the surface, not waves exactly, more like breathing, the slow rise and fall of something at rest, and the reflections of the boats on the water, faded blue and red and white, wiggle softly with each tiny movement. You step onto the curved stone walkway that follows the harbour wall, leading out and away from the town, curving gently toward the far end where a small lighthouse stands. Its light doesn't flash or sweep. It pulses, slow and steady, like a long and even breath. The ocean keeps the same slow rhythm, steady, steady. Raven walks beside you now, her shoulder near your knee, unhurried. On your left, the town rises up the hillside, warm yellow windows scattered among the dark shapes of houses, quiet as grounded stars. On your right, the boats rest against the harbour wall, bumping softly against their moorings, ropes creaking just a little as they shift with the water. You trail your fingers along the top of the stone wall as you walk. It's rough and slightly cool, damp in places where the sea has reached it over many years, and solid in a way that feels almost like a conversation. Something saying, "I'm not going anywhere." The air smells of salt and old rope, and something faint and mineral from the wet stone. It's a clean smell, an honest smell, the kind of smell that belongs to places that have been doing their quiet work for a very long time. Your footsteps echo lightly on the walkway, then fade into the sound of water, slap and gurgle against the stone, the low, distant thud of larger waves meeting the outer breakwater, far enough away to feel safe, close enough to remind you of what the wall is holding back. You pause for a moment and look over the edge of the wall into the harbour. The water below is dark and quietly moving, and you can see the rope of one of the boats angling down into it, pulled taut just a little, then releasing, pulled and releasing, over and over without urgency. The boat rocks, gently, constantly, and does not tip. It's tied at more than one point you notice. A rope at the bow, another at the stern, a third looped around a cleat midway along the dock. The weight of it is shared between all of them, so that no single rope has to hold everything. You stand there for a moment, just watching it rise and fall. Raven peeks over the edge beside you, ears forward, curious and calm. Then she looks up at you, and her expression, if a dog can have one, is patient and steady. You keep walking. The walkway curves out a little further, and the sound of the outer waves grows slightly clearer, still far, still safe, but present. A seabird calls once from somewhere up on the dark volcanic cliffs, and then goes quiet. The town behind you is small and still. The lighthouse ahead pulses its slow, wide light, and the harbour holds the water, and the water holds the boats, and the boats hold whatever is stored inside them, all of it layered and steady, each thing resting into the next. You feel the weight in your chest again, that familiar pressure behind your sternum, the sense of carrying a little too much in one place for a little too long. But here, with the stone solid under your feet and the sea moving beside you, it doesn't feel like an emergency. It feels like something that can be looked at. Little by little, your breath slows to match the water. In on a small wave rising. Out on the same wave settling back. Halfway along the wall you stop. You place both hands flat on the top of the stone, and you feel it, the cool, rough, completely immovable surface beneath your palms. It doesn't give, it doesn't shift. It simply is. Beyond the wall, you can hear the larger waves breaking against the outer rocks, a low and rhythmic thunder, powerful and distant. But here, inside, the water stays calm. The wall absorbs what it needs to absorb so the inside can rest. You think about that quietly, the way you might think about something on a slow walk when no one is watching and there's no pressure to arrive anywhere. The harbour wall doesn't carry the waves on its back. It receives them on its face and lets them break and remains. Raven sits beside you, her back against your leg, a warm and unhurried point of contact. You feel the slight pressure of her there, steady and real. One more thing holding you, quietly, without being asked. The ocean keeps the same slow rhythm, steady, steady. You think about a chair with 4 legs. You've felt like one for a while now, 4 legs, each one serving a purpose, each one meant to carry its share of the weight. But one of those legs has been asked to carry more than it was built for, and the whole chair leans a little, groans a little, even though it hasn't fallen. You're still standing, still functioning, still showing up, and yet you feel the lean, that persistent, quiet tilt that reminds you something is off. In the soft glow from the lighthouse, you let yourself name the 4 legs without judgment, without urgency, just quietly, the way you might identify clouds by their shapes on a slow afternoon. Body, how you feel in yourself, how you're eating and sleeping and resting. Relationships, the people you give to and receive from, the connections that hold you in the world, work and money, the practical weight of what you build and earn and sustain, and something deeper, spirit, meaning, whatever it is that reminds you that you're more than just the tasks you complete. You know which one is carrying too much right now. You don't have to say it out loud. You already know. And it's not broken. It's just overloaded. There's a difference, and somewhere in you, you know that too. The boat in the water below rocks gently, and all 3 of its ropes shift at once, each taking a little of the movement, sharing the pull between them so that none of them snaps. You watch it for a moment, just that. You don't have to carry the full weight on one leg. You can simply choose, tomorrow, one small thing that gives the shaky leg a little relief. Not a great overhaul, not a plan, just a wedge under the corner, a small and honest adjustment. A call you've been putting off making, a boundary you've been meaning to say out loud. 10 minutes of something that feeds you instead of depleting you. Raven leans into your leg just a little more, as if she agrees. You feel the warmth of her there, solid and calm, and you let the thoughts settle. No urgency, no pressure, just a quiet yes. The lighthouse at the end of the wall pulses, slow and wide. Not dramatic, not urgent, just steady. The way something built to last is always steady. You begin walking again, slow and easy, your sandals finding the stone, the water murmuring beside you. The slight tang of salt on your lips, the cool breeze moving across your hands. The distant houses on the hill, their yellow windows unhurried and warm. Little by little, the weight in your chest shifts, not gone, but redistributed somehow, as if just naming it has allowed something else to come in and share the load. Connection itself is a kind of leg. Raven walking beside you is a kind of leg. The stone beneath your feet, the harbour wall that takes what the ocean throws at it. All of it a reminder that you were never meant to hold the full weight alone. You reach the end of the harbour wall. The lighthouse stands here, squat and wide, built close to the water, built to stay. It's not tall or dramatic the way lighthouses sometimes are in pictures. It's modest, thick-walled, with the look of something that has survived many seasons without needing to announce that fact. Its light pulses once as you approach, slow and even, and the glow spreads out across the water in a wide, gentle arc. Not a beam cutting the dark, more like a breath of light, expanding and then settling, expanding and then settling. Beside the lighthouse, built into the wall itself, is a broad, flat stone bench. Not placed there, carved there, all shaped from the same stone as everything else, as if it grew from the wall, the way a shelf of rock grows from the cliff. Wide enough to lie on, solid enough that you feel it the moment you sit down, cool and completely still beneath you. Your whole weight settles into it. The stone doesn't shift, doesn't creak, doesn't adjust. It simply receives you the way something has been receiving the weight of people sitting here for a very long time. Raven lies down against your feet, her side warm against the tops of your sandals, her breathing slow and regular. You feel the gentle pressure of her there, grounding you at the base, one more steady point of contact between you and the solid world. You look back along the harbour wall the way you came. The curved walkway, the boats still resting in their places. The town on the hill, with its warm and quiet windows. The blue hammock is strung somewhere up there between two stone walls, in the courtyard of one of those small houses, swaying almost imperceptibly in the mild night air, still and soft and waiting. Everything is where it belongs. The boats in the water, the town on the hill, the wall between the open sea and the sheltered bay, and you, here at the end of it, held by stone and dog and soft night air. The ocean keeps the same slow rhythm, steady, steady. You look at the boats again from here, all of them tied at multiple points, each one resting into the harbour with a particular ease that comes from being held well. They rise when the water rises, and they settle when it settles, and none of them fight the movement. They simply allow the harbour to do what the harbour was built to do. You think of the things that can hold you the way the harbour holds the boats. Your body when you let it rest. The people in your life who hold their rope quietly, without making a performance of it. The practices that steady you, however small, however imperfect. And something larger, something you may call the ocean itself, or the universe, or a higher presence, whatever it is that existed before you arrived and will remain after you've done everything you've set out to do. You don't have to carry the full force of the open sea on your own back. That's what the wall is for. That's what the harbour is for. And right now, you are inside the harbour, and the water here is calm. Raven's breathing deepens against your feet. The lighthouse pulses once more, wide and slow. A seabird calls somewhere on the cliffs, a single clean note, and then the quiet returns, fuller than before. You realize sitting here that you haven't collapsed. Even with the wobble, even with one leg carrying more than it should, the chair has held. You're still here, still functional, still arriving in places that ask something of you and offering something real. That's where the moment of quiet acknowledgement. Not a celebration, not a performance of gratitude. Just a soft interior noting, the way you might nod at something true. You're still here. And even the wobbly leg, the one you've been worrying about, hasn't broken yet. It's adjusting. Slowly, honestly, the way things adjust when you stop pretending they're fine and start giving them a little of what they actually need. The water slaps gently against the base of the lighthouse wall below you, a soft, rhythmic sound like someone tapping a slow heartbeat on a drum made of stone and sea. Steady, steady, even and patient and unhurried. You close your eyes on the bench. The cool stone is solid beneath you, and the night air moves gently across your face, and Raven breathes at your feet, slow and real. For a moment, there is nothing required of you at all. You breathe in, slow and easy, drawing the night air deep into your chest. And as you breathe in, you imagine something rising through the stone beneath you, through the bench and into your legs and up your spine. A quiet steadiness, unhurried and generous, as if the stone itself has something to offer. You breathe out and you let go just a little of the belief that everything must be perfectly balanced, perfectly upright, perfectly managed at all times. Just a little of that release with the breath, like something softening at the edges. You breathe in again and the salt air fills you, cool and real. You breathe out and the shoulders drop a little more. Somewhere inside you, quiet as a thought you don't need to hold on to, a simple knowing settles in. You are more supported than you realize. You are allowed to adjust the weight you carry. Not tomorrow's task, not a plan, not a list. Just the quiet permission, sitting warm in your chest, like the glow from those yellow windows on the hill. You are allowed. The ocean keeps the same slow rhythm, steady, steady. The lighthouse pulses behind you, wide and slow, its light moving across the water and returning, moving and returning. The boats rest in their places, tied and easy, rising with the small movements of the water and settling back, over and over, without resistance. Raven shifts against your feet, a small adjustment, and then her weight returns, warm and steady, right where it was. You sit for a while longer, your breathing matching the slow pulse of the light, in and out, wide and easy, no urgency anywhere in any of it. The harbour holds the waiter, the wall holds the harbour, the stone bench holds you, and something larger than all of it holds the whole of this, quietly, the way the sea holds an island, everywhere at once, without effort, without end. Little by little, the scene around you begins to soften at the edges, not disappearing, just becoming gentler, the way things look through half-closed eyes when the body is warm and the mind has finally stopped reaching for the next thing. The sound of water remains clear and close and real. The smell of salt remains, the cool breeze on your face, the weight of Raven at your feet. But the edges of the harbour, the town, the cliffs, the outer dark, all of it softens and quiets, held in the same slow pulse as everything else. After a while, you rise from the bench. Slowly, the way you rise from something that has held you well, not in a hurry to leave, just ready. Raven rises with you, shakes herself once, lightly, and falls into step beside you as you begin the walk back along the harbour wall. Your footsteps are quieter now, or the water is louder, or both. The boats pass on your left, still resting, still roped at their several points, still sharing the weight of themselves among the ropes, and the dock, and the patient water. You don't have to stop and look. You simply walk and let the sight of them stay with you as you pass. The stone walkway curves back toward the town, and the lamps on the harbour wall cast their small, warm circles of light on the ground ahead of you, each one waiting where it was. Nothing changed. Everything steady. At the base of the stone staircase, you pause for just a moment. The harbour behind you, the little room above you, the familiar worn steps between. Raven waits at the bottom of the stairs, unhurried, tail low and easy. You climb the steps slowly, your hand trailing the wall beside you, the stone cool and certain under your palm. One step, then the next, and at the top, the door to the little room is open the way you left it, the curtain moving softly in the breeze. You step inside. The wooden floor is smooth and warm under your feet, and the room is quiet, and the sound of the harbour comes through the open window, soft and constant, and completely without urgency. There is a bed against the wall, narrow and plain, with a blanket the colour of stone. You lie down on it without ceremony, and the mattress receives your weight the way the stone bench did, simply, fully, without asking anything of you in return. Raven settles near the foot of the bed, her warmth at the edge of your awareness, grounding you to the room, to the dream, to this quiet place between sleep and sleep. SFX, soft harbour sounds, water against stone, distant waves. And then gently, without announcement, the room begins to drift. The walls soften. The ceiling loosens its edges. The sound of the harbour, steady and familiar, begins to carry you backward, the way a tide carries something that has stopped fighting, back and back and back into the deeper quiet. Your real bed is beneath you now. Your real room, quiet and familiar, holding you the way it always has, without fanfare, without effort. The mattress is warm where your body has rested in it, and the weight of the blanket across you is soft and real and completely yours. You carry the harbour with you still, the feel of the stone bench cool and solid beneath you, the sound of water against stone, steady and even, going nowhere, in no hurry, simply present. Raven's warmth at the edge of things, quiet and grounding. The ocean keeps the same slow rhythm, steady, steady. Your body is heavy now, in the good way, the way it gets when all the holding finally lets go, when the muscles that have been keeping everything organized through a long and full day finally soften and release one by one, without being asked. Your legs are heavy and still. Your arms are heavy and still. Your chest rises and falls with a breath that belongs entirely to sleep, slow and full and unhurried. The four legs of the chair are still there, all of them doing their quiet work. The shaky one, still adjusting, still finding its footing, but held now by everything around it. By the other three, by the harbour wall, by the ropes that share the load, by whatever it is that holds the whole sea in place without effort and without end. You don't have to do anything more tonight. Not one more thing. The harbour is out there somewhere, patient and dark, the boats resting in their places, the wall doing its ancient work against the outer waves, the lighthouse pulsing its slow and steady light across the water, once and again and again. The blue hammock sways just barely in the courtyard of one of those warm-windowed houses on the hill, the night air moving through it, unhurried, cool, a quiet place of rest that asks nothing and offers everything. And you are here, held by your bed, by the night, by the slow and easy rhythm of your own breathing. More supported than you realize, even now, even in the dark, even in the places that are still adjusting. Little by little, the thoughts loosen. Little by little, the images soften and drift. like boats rocking on water, rocking and settling, going nowhere, content to rest where they are. The sound of water stays with you, faint and constant, like something breathing just outside the edge of where you are. Stone and salt and the slow pulse of the lighthouse. Ropes creaking softly and going quiet. Waves on the outer rocks, low and distant, doing what they've always done. Patient and steady, and not your concern tonight. Steady, 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 steady. Your breath is slower now than when you started. Each one longer, each one a little deeper, each one a small and quiet return to something that was always here, beneath the carrying, beneath the managing, beneath the wobble and the weight. Something solid, something that does not require your effort to remain. The harbour holds the boats. The night holds the harbour. And you, right here, in your warm and quiet bed, are held by all of it, even now, even as you drift further down into the soft and dreamless dark. Nothing to carry tonight, nothing to balance or arrange or hold in place. Just this breath, and then the next one, and then the long and easy quiet that waits just below. Steady, steady. The water moves against the stone. The lighthouse pulses once, wide and slow. The boats rest in the harbour, held at every point, rising gently, settling gently, rising and settling. And you rest here, held at every point, just the same. Little by little, steady, still.